You know Norm MacDonald, the comedian?
Of course.
Of course, greatest comedian probably ever. I didn't know him, really. But he and I, we would write each other long letters on Twitter DMs for weeks. This is the strangest thing. Because I saw he was following me on Twitter. And he wasn't following a lot of people. And I was a huge fan of his. So I didn't even want to message him. I was so...
Hey, so Norm MacDonald is one of my favorite comedians of all time. And I had no idea that he was friends with Michael Knowles. But apparently he was. So here's a clip of Michael Knowles discussing his Twitter friendship with Norm MacDonald.
You know Norm MacDonald, the comedian?
Of course.
Of course, greatest comedian probably ever. I didn't know him, really. But he and I, we would write each other long letters on Twitter DMs for weeks. This is the strangest thing. Because I saw he was following me on Twitter. And he wasn't following a lot of people. And I was a huge fan of his. So I didn't even want to message him. I was so... And one time he sent out a tweet and it sounded kind of despairing. Now we know he was dying of cancer.
Very sick, yeah.
I thought he was suicidal or something. I just sent him a note. I said, I feel bad if I didn't. I said, hey, Norm, huge fan of yours. If I can be of any help, I don't know that I can, but I'd be happy to. And we started writing each other these letters. And
really?
Yeah, for weeks, every night, just for weeks, long essays, really.
To Norm MacDonald on Twitter DM.
It's weird. This is one of the stranger.
Great.
Every night. And he would do this thing where he'd say, Michael, I can't do it right, Norm. He'd say, it would be prideful for me not to take you up on your offer. Because, Michael, I'm not an educated man. You're an educated man. I have an undergraduate degree. I'm not an educated man. I didn't really go to college. And then he would do this thing where he'd make it seem like he's just some old chunk of coal. Not that. And then he'd use a word that I didn't know. He was certainly much better read than I am and loved the Russian novelists. And we were talking about religion basically the whole time. And he said to me, I don't know I still don't know the particulars of all of his religious views. But he said, for me, I told him how I converted or reverted. And he said, yeah, for me, I've just always known the Bible's true. I just always knew. I'd read it. I just knew. So anyway, that's it. And I thought, well, that's the better way. It's like Christ to Thomas the Apostle. He says, blessed are you. You've seen and believed, but blessed are those who have not seen and yet believed. And
yes.
And that was Norm. And yeah, that's another example too of you think, okay, the whole culture and all these smart people are atheists. Norm is one of the smartest pop culture figures that's been around
ever.
For decades.
Yeah.
Yes. But he knew. And it's just like...
Hey, so that was pretty interesting, wasn't it? I always knew that Norm was religious, and that's good for him, So rest in peace, Norm. Rest in peace, brother.